Good morning. My name is Karen Kong, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to my This or That Thursday. Every week I try to post 2 cards in my Facebook group, on my Facebook page, and I ask my crafting community to pick a card for me to make live on Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. And here we are. We are making this card today. So it's more of a clean and simple kind of look. My daughter commented that it needed something a little more in the top section, but I think I like it just the way it is. So this is the card we're making. I'm still playing with the Zinnia bundle. I love it more than I thought I would. So I've been getting a lot of mileage out of it. So anyways, let me get started. I am just going to get my, Facebook page up so that I can see all the comments when you're joining in. I would love it if you comment and say hi and ask me questions, keep me company while I'm crafting, because it's more fun when I'm crafting with friends. Okay, so I have that the video showing. We are ready to go. All right, let me switch the view to my desktop. Just close your eyes while I change the mount. Okay. Good morning, Sandra. Just close your eyes while I mount the camera. All right. Oh, I just forgot that I had changed the angle of my camera mount while I was doing a Facebook reel last week. And I just have to change that. Like I said, every week it's different. It's, you know, I think I've set it up properly, and every week I come back on and nope, it's not centered anymore. I don't get it. So let me just move this over so that I know where it is centered on my screen. Let's see. Does that look right? Okay. Keeps moving up further and further. Maybe I'm gonna have to change my my mount location, because it's like it's gonna be in my face pretty much, nearly. Okay, all right, so we're set up now. So if you're joining for the first time, don't worry about writing down measurements and colors and all that. I always post the measurements and the products in my video description after I'm done. Just sit back, enjoy, and watch, and ask me questions. So I used Blackberry Bliss for this card base, and I embossed with the Zinnia folder, and then I matted it because I felt like it was missing something when I left it just by itself. And I used Melon Mambo to add some color to my Zinnia. So if you've seen a real Zinnia has many, many layers of petals, and it looks almost like a ball. So what the dies give us is just 2 different petal shapes. Let's see. So here we get the 2 different petals. And what I wanted was a little bit more, so I die cut like 1 more layer, but because the layer is the same size, they were all going to kind of overlap with each other. So what I actually did for this is I cut this center out and I moved them in so that I could get like a little bit of an extra layer there. So let's do that again. I'll show you how I did that. And yeah, I added some greenery. I thought the leaf here was a bit too big for this flower. So what I did was I took this leaf and I split it apart and I added it on the sides. So that's what we're doing today. We'll be doing a little bit of embossing, and that's about it. So let's get started. I'm going to cut the card base first and do the dies, the embossing, and then we'll take care of the flower, because that's going to take the longest, I think. Okay, let me just make some room. If you could see the mess on my table, it would be embarrassing. And my table behind me, like, it's just, I still just haven't cleaned up from the spring madness, and because we're still continuing on with like end of year school activities and graduations and such. So I am just keeping up as best as I can with everything that needs to be done. Oh, I dropped my paper trimmer just earlier, and I lost the, just realized I lost the scoring blade. It's right here. I just got to put it back on. Whoops. All right. All right, so this is a piece of Blackberry Bliss. Oh yeah, Sandra, at least my craft table is still mine, although I'll probably have to clean it off next week so that, oh, Tanya, you're joining us this morning. Hello. Anyways, I was saying that I'll probably have to clear off my crafting table, because when my son has his friends over, they take it downstairs to the basement so they can have some privacy and play games and hang out there. So I don't have a big table in the basement, and I don't really want to set one there permanently, so I give him my crafting table, so it'll require me to clean it up. All right, so I'm cutting this 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in half on the long side at 5.5 inches. And if you've never used a Stampin' Up! Face paper trimmer, this is an amazing one. I thought I never needed one, and then because I had 3 to begin with, and I ended up buying one because I can measure, score, and cut all on the same trimmer. Okay, so I'm scoring on halfway at the 4 1/4. Okay, so that's my card base. That's just the standard card base. And if I just bring this back in, I'm just going to measure, because I was doing this, you know, when I was creating it, I wasn't writing down the measurements. So now I'm going to have to measure again. So my embossed piece is 3 1/4 by 4.5. 3 1/4 by 4.5. Okay, so let me just double check this piece. I just want to make sure I make use of this half sheet of paper best. I don't want to cut it the wrong way. This is 3.5 by 4 3/4. Okay, 4 3/4 and 4.5. Okay, so I am obviously not good at multitasking. I find the older I get, the less I can remember, like short term, like things just leave my head so quickly. Okay, so this piece I need 3.5. 3.5. So I'm going to cut this way. 3.5. And I need it to be, I know I just measured this a second ago, but seriously, my brain is like fried. 4 3/4. Here we go. 4 3/4. Okay, so that's the matting for the back. And then I need a slightly smaller piece. 3 1/4 by 4.5. 3 1/4. By 4.5. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine to emboss this piece, and I think what we'll do, actually, before I bring that in, I'm going to also need to die cut all these little pieces. So before I do that, I need to prepare what I did for the petals. So I blended Melon Mambo in a circle, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that so that I can die cut petals from it. And I want the pink to radiate from the center. So let me just grab my Melon Mambo. So Ottawa is in the middle of a heat wave right now and is ridiculously hot. And today is my daughter's leaving ceremony. She finishes grade 6 in her school, and then she'll be going to a different school for grade 7 to 12. And her elementary school is not air conditioned. It's going to be a very sweaty ceremony. Okay, so just multitasking here. Again, not really my forte anymore. I used to do it all the time. I love multitasking, get things done, but I cannot manage it anymore. Not as well as I used to. I find sometimes I'm doing like something and I get mixed up and do something else instead. Okay, so I'm just going to make a circle here. a small circle. Okay, and I'm not going to make it too dark because I want the center to be the focal point and I want the leaves to have some white on it still. So let me just show you with the dye, right? You don't want I don't want the pink going all the way to the edges of the petals, so I want to make my circle small. So I'm going to do that 3 times because I want 3 sets of flowers. I'm not sure if I have, oh, I should have enough room here. Let's see. I want to see if I can fit all 3 here. Okay, let's see how it turns out. Okay. And I also die cut my leaves and my greenery from solid old olive cardstock. And I also die cut some that I colored. I blended on the old olive so I could get like variations in my greenery. So that's what I'm going to do next. And I didn't really have a pattern for that. I just used some blending and I wasn't really doing anything in particular. I just wanted some variation in my green. That's all. All right, so let's put this away and I'll bring over the cut and emboss machine. And we'll do some die cutting. Alright, so I have some old olive left from yesterday. You can tell that I did some die cutting already. Let me grab my dies. So I have the other set of petals. Oh, okay, your high school's not air conditioned either. Okay, I don't feel so bad because his is not. My son's graduation is also next week, but actually our ceremony is not going to be at the high school. It's going to be at the local college right near us, and it is air conditioned, thank God. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 sets of greenery there. I'm also going to want to die cut these eventually, so I'm going to have to get another piece, but let's see. I'm going to put that aside for now. Okay, so let's put this here. I'm going to center it on my pink, and I'll put this one here. I'm going to turn it so that hopefully we can fit one more on the side there. Okay, and I think that was it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use these first over here, and then I'll use the leaves. Die cut these leaves right here. All right, let's put that through. Oh, I just realized I am missing, yep, I am missing one plate. I just realized I'm missing the white plate underneath, sorry. Okay, so let me just double check. That one looks, nope, my petals need to be fixed. Okay. All right, that looks okay. Oh, hey Tara. Great. I'm glad you got the notification. Finally. If you didn't catch my post last week, I was posting about how my Facebook was not notifying my followers of my posts and my lives, and it has to do with setting up your Facebook settings for my page. So when you join the page, you should take a look at the notification settings set up, because it defaults to just giving you the highlights, or what it deems to be the highlights, which means you may never see you know, 90% of my posts if it doesn't think that it's popular enough to send you a notification. So I've asked everyone to set their notifications so that they can get all the new posts and all the new video notifications, and I think it's working. Like, for whoever did do it is seeing notifications, which is great. Okay, so I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool. Where is it? So I'm just going to slide my Take Your Pick tool down the side of one petal, inside of one petal, and poke from the center out so I can easily pop it out. There's one. The other one's already cut. And these, I have one cut here. And the other one's still stuck in the die. Let me just poke that out. Oh, great. Sandra, you saw it too. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to cut a few more of the greenery out of the solid old olive. There's the other piece. I think I'll get, let's see if I can fit both of these on somehow. Oh yeah, maybe I can. Perfect. I'm not going to see some of this hidden underneath the flower, so it's okay. And I have one more flower to cut, and I'm going to use this die. Oh, and it just fits. Perfect. All right. Oh, Tanya, yours was defaulting back to what it was before. That's really weird. I'm glad that yours are set up properly, though, so you got notified today. All right, let's put this through. I took a look on the internet for different colors of zinnias, and they're quite colorful. I found one in particular that caught my eye that I would love to try to kind of recreate. It's I can't remember, is it a queen? It's called a queen red lime zinnia. Let me just double check. It is gorgeous. I really want to try and see if I can reproduce that. Let me just look it up for you. It's called, oh, I don't have the name written down. Darn. I'm pretty sure it's a queen red lime. You guys can Google that and take a look, but it is a gorgeous zinnia. Wow. Oh, Sandra, you know what? I just put silent notifications. I don't know if that's like the same for you, but I think I can, like, I can just see like the little red dot notification on the icon, but it doesn't like, I don't have like noises set. Like, I don't have any dings or anything like that. Okay, so there's the third one. Okay, so what am I missing? I still need the little the center piece here and those little tiny flowers there. Yeah, isn't that a gorgeous zinnia, Tara? It's just stunning. I love it. It's like this pink, it's mostly pink, but then it's kind of like mixed with a lime green in the center. It's hard to describe, but it looks gorgeous. Okay, so I'm gonna actually cut these out in, this is a lemon lolly, but yeah, lemon lolly, but today I'm gonna use Daffodil Delight to give it a little bit more pop. And I didn't want the center to be quite so bright. So actually what I want to do, I forgot I was gonna do this. This is cut out of Melon Mambo, the center, but I want to blend it on just like I did for the petals so that I can get a lighter shade of it instead of such a dark pink. Like I still want it to be bright pink, but not super, super bright. So I just want to try that. I'm just going to quickly do that here. So I'm just going to take a small section here because it's a really small die cut. So I am just going to make it really pink, but not super pink. Well, that's pretty pink. Okay, let me try again. I didn't tap off first. Let's try this again. Okay, so let's try one of those spots. We'll see how it turns out. This is reality crafting, live stamping. I sometimes, if you've joined me in the past, you know, I sometimes change things up on the fly and try something a little bit different from the original, but then you have, you know, two different results, right? And you can see which one you like better and try it yourself. So, okay, so this I want to use Daffodil Delight. So I have a scrap piece here and I'm just gonna cut it out of my scrap. All right, let's see how these pieces turn out. Whoops. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I just realized that the bottom of the screen is cut off and you couldn't see when I was blending here. Okay, so the bottom edge of this turned out a little bit brighter, but you know what, it's gonna get covered by my daffodil, the little mini flowers. I'm just gonna get that little piece out. I'm just wondering if it's gonna be dark enough. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna blend in too much. Let's try the darker spot. Okay. So we're doing a little bit of experimenting here today. Please bear with me as we try this out. I need to get these little pieces off of the cutting mat. Okay, move that out of the way. And where did, oh, here's the die. Here we go. Let's use the darker one over here. And see how that one turns out. Oh, Tanya took a look at the flower. Yeah, it's a gorgeous flower. I've never seen that, a real one, obviously. I don't know where, like it's said in the description that it's a more rare flower as far as I can tell. I don't know how you get a hold of, like, you know, seeds for planting that, but it's gorgeous. Okay, so that one I think will work better. I think that's a bit darker, much darker than the original. Let's use that one. How is that possible? You don't have any flowers and stamp sets, Sandra. Although I'm probably opposite from you. I know Sandra has a lot of animals, cute animals and such. Scenery, did you say scenery? No, well, mostly a lot of animals from what I recall. Whereas I choose more the floral sets. Okay, coming back to my table, let's put the dies away before I lose them. Okay, I'm also just kind of taking inventory of how many of these little greenery things I have, and I think I have enough. Yeah, I think I have enough. Okay, so I'm just gonna put these away. Yeah, this is a very, I don't know, I'm really liking this set. I have used it a lot, as you can tell. You know, I've done a lot of, several lives with this set, and I really like the versatility. I mean, lots of different options, that's for sure. And you can change up the colors, right? That's why I was looking at the Zinnia colors online. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'm gonna put together a few pieces so I don't have to like keep touching everything and moving it around. So let's take the card base and we'll fold it in half, and I'm going to furnish that fold with a my bone folder to give it a nice crisp edge. Okay. All right, and I'm going to put that aside because I'm going to take, oh, I forgot to emboss this. Darn it. Okay, back comes the cut and emboss machine. I knew I forgot something. So I use the Zinnia 3D embossing folder. Oh, the card base is a Blackberry Bliss, Sandra. Yeah, Tara, you could probably mimic this with your daisy punch. And like I said, like to get the third layer, I actually cut apart the smaller one and I layered it on top. Sorry, I'm just bringing back the cut and emboss machine so that we can emboss the, I just gotta figure out which one's the smaller one. Yeah, this is the smaller one. Okay. All right, so just be careful when you're embossing. The Zinnia folder is a little bit, the orientation is not what you expect. Like I usually expect the orientation when to face the, to be upright when the fold is at the top, but the fold is actually on the left side if you want it to be upright. So the first time I embossed, I made the mistake of assuming it was vertical, and I embossed it the wrong way. It was the wrong orientation for what I wanted. So that's the right orientation. Let's push it through. Yeah, I love Blackberry Bliss and I miss Rich Razzleberry. So those are such great colors. All right, so let's put this aside again. All right, so I'm actually using the, let me see, because for one of them I use the debossed side and one of them I use the embossed side, and this one I think I use the embossed side. Not that it really matters. For this folder I think you could use either one and it would still look gorgeous. I think I'm gonna go with this way. Okay, not that you can tell, I think it's probably quite dark and hard to tell, but unless the fold, like the embossing is directional, I think you could choose to go either way with any embossing folder. There's no right or wrong, it's just personal preference for how you want your card to look. Okay. Okay, so those two pieces are now together. And I'm not going to put it on yet because I have raised it up on dimensionals, and I don't want to put it on dimensionals and then put the tops, the flowers on and everything, because I need to press on it. So we'll just leave it separate for now, but I'm going to put it aside. I'm going to assemble the flower now. Okay, so let me bring in my silicone mat so that if I get any glue on my surface, it will just easily be removed from the mat instead of from my desktop. Okay, so I'm looking for my tweezers. Okay, let's move these off here. And I'm going to use, so there's two of the same die cut here, and I have the one, there's one that's kind of fatter than the other one. This one has the more delicate petals, and I layered it so that I had one delicate one on the bottom and then one of the fatter ones in the middle, and then I cut apart one of the other ones. So I'm just going to lay it out so that I know approximately where I'm going to lay this, because you can see that like in some positions it doesn't really cover as much. You get more overlap, so I want as much cover as possible, because a real zinnia is, you know, it's very full. It's got lots and lots of petals. It makes it almost look like a ball shape. So I want to make sure that I pick a position where it will provide lots of coverage for my zinnia. And I'm having trouble figuring that out today. I'm just going to keep turning until I figure out a position that looks relative. Oh, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm just going to flip it over this way so that when I flip it over again, it'll be in the right spot. So all I'm going to do is put some dots in the middle. I'm not going to attach to the petals themselves, because I want to leave them separate, and so that I can curl them a little bit at the end and give the flowers some three-dimensional lift. Now I wonder if I turned that one too far. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better. And it's okay, because you know nobody's going to see the glue, so I only put little dots enough to adhere it together, but it's not going to squish out. There. Okay, so now I want to add some extra layering. Now if you look at this, because the leaves or the petals are all the same length, you don't get the same layering effect like you would on a real zinnia. So what I did was I cut it apart. Okay, Tanya, sorry, it's sorry your internet's not behaving, so hopefully you can catch the replay later. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it apart. I'm just going to cut it in 4 sections. Actually, you know what? Yesterday when I worked with it in 4 sections, it was still more difficult to place because of the middle parts sticking out, like trying to overlap them in the middle. So what I'm going to do, actually, I think I'm going to cut them completely apart, and that will give me complete control over where I place them. This is reality crafting. I have no idea if this is going to work properly or not, so let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to put dots of glue in the center. And let's go with covering it. So I'm going to move it a little bit further in, right? So that it's shorter than the other petals, so that you get more of a layering effect there. And let's keep doing this right around. This one's kind of short, so this is the one that bothered me here in this card, is that it's shorter than the rest, so I may leave that out, and maybe what I'll do is die cut one more if I need to, but we'll see how this goes. So the mill's looking kind of messy, but that's okay, because I know that this middle piece is going to cover it all up, and it's going to be okay. Nobody's going to be able to tell. There. Okay. So let's keep going around. Does anybody enjoy this kind of heat? It's like in Ottawa, I think it was over 40 degrees with the humidex in the last few days. 40 degrees Celsius, that is. And it's not really pleasant with the humidity. I don't love it. I am so happy that we have air conditioning, and otherwise I don't think I could sleep at night. Let's see. I might need that shorter one actually, and because it's getting quite layered up in the middle. So, like I said, this is like reality crafting. I don't know how it's going to turn this out. Today's is really kind of going away from my original plan, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. Yeah, I'll bet. I just cannot imagine. I'm just looking at Tara's comment about the dog walks. I just can't imagine being an animal with fur in this kind of heat. Like, who would, like, the poor things who have to go out for their walks and they're just boiling in their fur coats. I just cannot imagine. I really feel sorry for them, you know. And I really hope that all the other dog owners are also like you, Tara, and not bringing their dog out in midday heat. I did see somebody who took their dog out for a walk like around 10:30-ish yesterday morning, and already by then it was like really hot. Okay, let's see if I can slide this one in somehow. I'm running out of room to add my petals. Okay, so it's quite built up in the center, which is fine, and I think it's okay. So let's go ahead and add this. What I think I'm going to do, because it's so built up in the center here, I'm going to use glue dots on either side of this high point, rather than just relying on, like, I'll just put like a little bit of glue right on the middle, but I think I'll also add. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. The asphalt being super hot. Is there anything you can do about that? Like, they don't, I know that they make dog shoes for winter time because the salt and the cold are bad for their paws as well, but is there anything for when it's hot? Like, the poor things, like, I guess, you know, all they can do is walk on the grass, I guess, and like hurry over. Does your dog wear booties? Like, they just have to hurry over. It's just like when we're, I guess, running to the pool on the concrete, right? Like, it's got to be like, you know, it's all hot on your toes and your feet. Okay, and I'm just trying to shorten this piece of paper that the glue dot is on so I can put it straight up against here. I'm not sure if it's high enough actually to stick it. Okay, we'll see. I'll put a little bit more glue, and hopefully that will be enough to adhere that centerpiece. I like Sandra's comment. Her son had a friend over, and he's like not usually very social, so he must have been desperate for company. That's funny. That's good for him, though. Was it a high school friend or a university friend now? That's the question. Did he make a good enough friend at university to invite somebody over? Okay, so there's my center, and here's the little flowers that go around the center. Now, because like this is high up, I'm thinking that only the inner edges of this flower, this little ring of flowers, is going to touch. So I'm only putting dots of glue right along the inner circle, because there's no point in adding glue that's just not going to adhere to anything, and I don't want it to bend backwards to try to attach it to the paper, because then it's not going to look right. There we go. That's all we need. So I'm just pressing center down just to make sure it stays. So I don't know, I think that looks pretty good. It's got quite a few layers, and I'm just going to give it time to dry before I curl it. Okay, so what I did earlier with this is that before I attached it to the paper, I take my finger, or you can take like a pencil or something, and just use it to curl the leaves up, the petals upward just a little bit, and it gives it like a 3D effect, if you can see that. You see that? All right, so let's give that time to dry before I do that. I'm going to attach the leaves later. So let's do the embossing here. So this, I love the look of white embossing on dark paper. So this one I fussy cut, which you can't even tell, I think, because it's on the same color cardstock. So it's kind of good, because if you have any mistakes, they're pretty much hidden. Okay, so let's do the embossing next. So I need a piece of leftover, and I'm going to get my Versamark out. You need Versamark ink, and oh, before I forget, I am going to use my embossing buddy. Whoops. And I saw a trick somewhere, I think, to remove that white residue. Somebody used a dryer sheet, if I remember right. I don't know if that's the only way. I haven't tried it. I want to try that sometime. I just keep forgetting. Okay, I need the stamp. Okay, and we'll just stamp it onto... Oh, I need a piece of paper. So I just have my scrap piece of paper for dumping the embossing powder onto. Okay, so thank you so much, Versamark. And it doesn't have to be straight, because I'm going to be cutting it out anyways, so I'm not going to worry about straightening it. I hope that's enough. Yeah, I think so. All right. So I just have white embossing powder from my stash, because I used to emboss when I scrapbooked, and I have so much embossing powder left over from those days. I have not had to purchase any more. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I'm just going to empty my embossing powder back into the little jar. And I'm going to bring in my heat gun. I hope it doesn't make too much noise while I'm heating. And I'm going to use the reverse tweezers to hold this. Okay. Sandra says I should do a scrapbook page for one of my lives. That would take forever, Sandra. That's why I started card making, because having to plan which photos I need to print out and which ones to use, and then the layout, that takes me forever. I'm so slow at it. Okay, I'm going to turn this on. It's going to be a little bit noisy. Okay, here goes the magic. Oh, I love it. Isn't that like magic when it just melts and it turns white? All right. Okay, so I'm just going to use my fingers. I'm gonna have to find a better way to clean off that white off the background. Does anybody have any tips, Sandra? Do you have any tips on getting that extra white residue off of a dark background? I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that that they just use a dryer sheet. I'm pretty sure that was what it was. Anyways, okay, so now I'm just going to fussy cut this out, and I'm just going to cut off the excess here because it makes it easier. Oh, use the Tara says use the paintbrush. Let me just try that. Okay, so this is the brush that came with the embossing buddy and the embossing folder. Sorry, the embossing tray. Oh, you know what? That does work really well. Thank you, Tara. I don't know why I never even thought of using the brush. That looks great. Yeah, the embossing buddy is really helpful because there are some days, I don't know what it is, but the paper is just super staticky and all the powder just sticks to it in all the wrong spots. So that's really handy. So I'm just going to quickly fussy cut this. And like I said, because I'm putting it on a dark background in the exact same shade, it's very forgiving. There are, you know, very little mistakes that you can see when you lay them on top of each other. But then I can see the embossing on the paper behind it. So it's good to have it fussy cut instead of having it in one rectangle. I think it suits the look for this particular card. Sometimes it's good to have a straight block, and it suits the look of the card. But today I want the fussy cut letters. And I can see there's comments out of the corner of my eye, but I cannot read them until I put my glasses back on. This is straight across. There we go. Yeah, I've used tweezers to get little dots off too, if there's just like a few of them, and that works. Yeah, it's too bad that the embossing buddy doesn't get sold on its own. That really is too bad. Okay, so my sentiment is ready. Oh, and I think my flower is probably ready for curling. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to take my finger and take each petal and just quickly press it upwards slightly. It's really nothing fancy. It's not really that difficult. Just takes a few extra seconds, but I think it really adds to the look of the flower. It gives it a wow effect, I think. It's a little harder with when you get to the lower layers, but it's not too bad. This one is moving because it's a single petal, but it's still holding. It's not too bad. Okay, now I'm just doing the bottom layer here. And it's nothing fancy. Like I said, you don't need any fancy tools to do this. I'm just using my finger. Ideally, I wouldn't be using my fingernail, but it's just smoother to use your finger, the pad of your finger instead. Okay, so look at that. Look at the difference that makes to the flower. It looks so much more realistic that way, right? Can you see? Okay, so let's bring in the matting piece again. Okay, so I know that I want my thank you so much to be in the bottom right corner. And I did not raise it up, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue it because I know I want it to be here. And then it won't move around as I arrange the flower. Okay. Okay. I should use my grid paper to help me figure out if this is straight. It's easier to eyeball the straightness if you have the grid paper behind it. I think that looks good. All right, so my flower is gonna go somewhere around here. So what I'm gonna do is, I don't think, oh yes, I did use dimensionals. So I'm going to use dimensionals just in the center of this, behind the flower, and that will allow me to slide in my greenery underneath. Okay. So I think I really just need one, and that's it. And then we'll slide everything underneath that, the petals. Okay. I don't think there's really an up way, so I'm just going to put it like this. Okay, I'm going to leave a little bit of space between it and the words. And this comes off the side, and that's okay because we have some extra room here. I try not to have too many things sticking out off the, like, outside of my card base, because when it goes in the envelope, it's going to get squished, right? And it's not going to end up looking the same way as when you put it in, if you do that. Okay, so let's cut these apart. So I took these leaves and I just cut them apart. I cut it close to the stalk here, so I have more room to hold it when I'm placing it, as well as a place to put my glue, right? Okay, so my one leaf is going to go underneath here. I'm going to turn these over so that I can put on some glue. Yeah, you're right. Sandra's saying it should be a hand-delivered card, because this would probably not survive being sent through the mailing system's sorting machines, right? It would probably get crushed. So in that case, you may not want to raise up the flower leaves, the petals, I mean. Okay, so I just put dots of glue on the inside of the leaf, okay? And most of it, if there's any glue sticking out, it will be hidden underneath, but I'm just sliding it underneath here. And I just want it to show a little bit, okay? You can use the end of your tweezers to press underneath to make sure the glue is adhered. I'm just checking that that is the right side of my leaf. This is the back side. Okay. And again, I'm just gonna stick this here. Okay. All right. And then these pieces here are the last pieces I need to add. And I'm going to just take a little time to lay it out. So I do this all the time. You know, when they do other demonstrators, I see their videos and they just stick it in. It's like, wow, how do they know where that's going to go? I never know if it's going to be in the right place, if there's going to be enough sticking out. So I like to place it beforehand, and then I'll take it out and glue them on one by one, which is probably why I have problems with, like, heavily layered cards, like the ones that have like 4, 5, 6 layers of different things on it, and like I have no idea how they assemble that and remember how it's supposed to go. I don't know. I have not figured that out, but this is the way I do it, is that I'll lay it out first and then I will glue afterwards. So something like this. Maybe stick that in a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's probably okay. I have one extra piece here. Oh, you know what I did? I cut it apart so that I'm gonna cut this way so I have a little bit more room for glue. So then I cut this apart so I wouldn't have to be restricted to the same orientations for both pieces. Oh yeah, I stuck one underneath here, that's why. Okay, so let's put that one in first. Oh, your dad's card hasn't arrived yet? That was the Father's Day one, right? And it hasn't made it there yet. Wow. I hope it didn't get lost. And you paid extra too. Okay, so let's stick this here. And I'm just going to slide my tweezers underneath to press it down. Okay. Let's put this. Okay, and I'm going to slide this in here. I like all this delicate foliage that just adds a little bit of character and depth. And I could not do it without my tweezers. Okay, let's put that there. I'm gonna stick. Okay. Just trying to find a spot where it'll slide in. Okay, I think that's probably enough. Okay, I'm just reaching underneath with the tweezers to press it. All right. Perfect. Okay, so there's the almost complete card. I have some jewels, some pearls to add here. It's the Iridescent Pearl Basics, and I like this size the best. The really big ones, I just always have a hard time using the really big pearls. These are, I think it's like the 3mm and the 4mm. I think these are the best sizes, personally. That's just my preference. Oops. And I'm just going to stick it in the same spots. All right, so now my card front is secure. I'm going to go ahead with using dimensionals to, here we go, to adhere it to the card base. So here's my card base, and I raised it up on dimensionals, so I'm trying not to press here too much. I have the edges of my dimensional sheet that I'm going to use. They're perfect for corners. Oops, it's sticking to me. All right. Oh, and I ran out to it. Let's get this one. So don't throw away, you know, when you get to the edges of your dimensionals, don't throw them away. You can reuse, you can use every bit of it. For big pieces like this, it's perfect. All right. See, that's going to be too long that way. Easy to work with. All right, and I'm going to put one in the middle just to hold it up. Okay, so I'm just going to take off all the backings now. Yeah, I love the pearls. I think if you're gonna get any jewels and you don't know which ones to get the plain white ones, the iridescent ones, because it goes with everything. And if you have lens markers, you can color them to match your whatever theme, color scheme that you've got, right? I'm not gonna color these. I thought about them. I thought about coloring it, but I actually think it looks better as just plain white because it stands out against the dark cardstock. So now I'm just going to center this. and place it. And that is my card today. Look how gorgeous that is. I love how this flower just pops right off the page with the 3D effect. Yeah, more of a hand-deliver card, I think, eh? Because you'll need to make sure it doesn't lose its 3D effect. Sorry, my off the page. Gosh. Okay, so I wanted to actually show you one other thing before I go. This other card that I made today, I actually was inspired to do something creative because of a mistake. So what I did was when I embossed the background and I cut the edge with the, let me show you. Which one is this? This is the Scalloped Contours dies, okay? This is new to me because I bought them when they were retiring and I'd never gotten them before that. And so I used the edge. Oh, I'm missing the die. It's over here. Okay, so I used this die to cut this edge. And then I assembled my card and I have like a DSP behind here for accent. And when I actually put it together, I realized that, well, I felt that there was too much of a gap here. I didn't like how it looked, and I felt that it needed something else, like it was not low enough. So what I thought I would do is I added an extra scallop. So when I originally cut this, I had to cut first and then I embossed, because if you emboss and then you cut the edge, if you run it through again, you're going to flatten all your embossing. But that meant I lost the detail on my scalloping. So I added a second layer, and actually I was debating between using Fresh Freesia to match and using, I actually cut this, the Blackberry Bliss, to make it pop. But I felt in the end that I didn't want the attention on the bottom of the card. I wanted it on the flowers, so I cut it in Fresh Freesia instead, just to give it a bit of accent but not really draw attention to it. And I actually like the way it looks. It looks like it has a double layer, you know, of scalloping, and I think it actually looks quite nice. And then I used like one of the edges of these. It was this particular die. You see how it has like a line and a dot there to cut the bottom edge of this little tag that I created, and I just love how that looks. I really like that tiny little accent. I love it, and you know, I have to remember to use that more often. But you know, I only used a part of this die to cut that bottom, and it's just a nice way to use your dies in a different way, right? And add to your card. So I love this card too. I was pretty much all set to do this card, but when we were stuck in a tie this morning, actually, my daughter picked the other card. So that's how we ended up doing the other card. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's card making session. I hope that you're inspired to go and create something similar. Case the cards. That's how I get my inspiration. Actually, today I got my inspiration for these cards from sketches that I saw posted online. So I didn't copy anybody else exactly. I was inspired by something similar, and then some sketches that kind of helped me lead me in the right way. So, you know, feel free to case and to take inspiration and go from there. Happy creating, everybody, and hopefully I will see you next week. And have a great week. Bye!